Thank you very much. I will see, I should be taller to see the other monitor. So thank you for the opportunity. I'll be presenting a suggestive topic that basically affirms the vision of Sonangol that is becoming an energy company. And my topic is bridging the gap between hydrocarbons and energy transition. Next. Okay, thank you. So a bit of introduction, institutional introduction of Sonangol Research and Development Center. So we are in the stage of consolidation with 102 people who are directly employed. We are in the conclusion stage of the first phase of our research and development infrastructures. We already have 5 structural projects that is the anchor for our implementation strategy. So we have a choice of topics like green hydrogen and ammonia production. So we are working on 2 plants. We have also a demonstration plant for the integration of the hydrogen conversion, energy utilization, and the R&D behind it. This demonstration plant will be a platform for training. So we also in minerals and of course the normal G&G and reservoir studies for the oil and gas. So we start basically from long time based on presidential decree. But as we progress, now we are consolidating and we are aligning with also Sonangol vision for the transition. And very soon we will be start working on our infrastructure, which is 300 kilometers south of Luanda. So this is like a photographic compilation for you to have an idea on the infrastructures that we are building in Angola. It is basically, the area is 64 hectares, and it is a very unique situation whereby we are putting together a lot of R&D infrastructures, including laboratories, administrative buildings, and all supporting infrastructure, data center, auditorium for meetings and so on, and including residential area. So basically, our researchers and partners will be going there and they can stay in the site and it will be in an autonomous place. So here I present what are our main framework of services and R&D research lines. So the first segment we show the services by sectors, oil and gas, renewables, green hydrogen and natural hydrogen, which is like a frontier for the hydrogen studies, critical minerals, carbon capture, utilization, storage, circular economy, helium exploration, development of biofuels, and also decarbonization technologies, mostly to be applied on the oil and gas infrastructures. Then we are also supported by data management and information technology infrastructure, where we have our data center with high power computing capabilities. And in this is the supporting IT, let's say, infrastructures for all the research and the modeling and so on that we'll be doing. In the center, we also have a hub for specialized training. The training, again, focus on the petrotechnical training, but also, of course, on the renewables and the energy subjects. And that is also the place where we have knowledge management and all necessary, let's say, systems that will be grounding and securing that people, knowledge transfer is made and the knowledge is retained and utilized for the benefit of the R&D. And of course, we also have laboratories for all sorts of analysis, so mostly for mineral, geochemical analysis, and also we have a series of apparatus for all necessary testing, for example, for the biofuel and catalysts for efficient refining of oil or hydrocarbon products into, let's say, cleaner and more environmentally friendly products. So this basically, this slide shows how we are keeping everything on integrated. We have created 5 key groups. So as we can see, exploration, production, and transformation of oil and gas is still the main umbrella of our activities. And this is the principle of hydrocarbon to transformation, to change, because this is what's still paying our bills. But with the incomes for this, then we are investing a lot on the renewable energy transition and strategic resources, environmental technology and sustainability, digital transformation, and of course things more related to economics and the policies. But at the end of the day, all the titles and the groups are somehow integrated and complementary to each other. These are some real examples of studies that we have been deploying. For example, for the oil and gas, we have been supporting our sister companies for the oil and gas. For example, geochemical studies for pore pressure prediction and securing, let's say, safe and sustainable activities for drilling, seismic processing, tape remasterization, and of course the transformation of old data into new data or new formats. We call this the digitalization and the geomatic center. And then of course we are also doing a lot of G&G studies to reevaluate the hydrocarbon potential of Angola, which is still untapped. A lot of potential exists, and we really needed to revisit a lot of areas that are already proven, but you know, our rate of, let's say, exploration area is still very, very sparse in some areas. Per 5,000 square kilometers, we only have 1 exploration well. This means that there is still a lot of opportunities to be unlocked or untapped inside our basins. And then, of course, we are also entering into new frontiers. For example, the Namib Basin that is now regained a lot of interest for the oil and gas companies. But we are also looking at mature fields whereby we are interested to assessing what is remaining potential and how this can optimize. And this exercise is actually an exercise of being more environmental friendly as well, if we extend the lives of our existing oil fields by making maybe new near field exploration and or improving the recoveries. We are going to save a lot on steel and other infrastructures that can be prolonged. So this exercise in itself is environmentally friendly. And then, of course, things like the Namib and the interior basins that are many hundreds of thousands of square kilometers that are there just needing for real good eyes to assess the hydrocarbon potential. Then oil to transformation, grounded on the oil and gas, a lot of investments that Sonangol has been making. Currently they are under the scope of Sonangol R&D, but as soon as they become functional and a productive business or activity, we will either create new subsidiaries or hand over into existing subsidiaries to do the production and there are more, let's say, productive stages of the business. So here I'm mentioning the green hydrogen and ammonia production infrastructure. This on the top left side, which we are planning to implement a hydrogen and ammonia plant using 600 megawatts of constant green electricity from hydroelectric power in order to produce about 400,000 tons of green ammonia per year. This is in the near pre-feed stage, and we are soon going to initiate more advanced studies for the adequacy and implementation of the plant in Angola. We are also considering this green hydrogen as a mechanism to initiate decarbonization of heavily carbonized industries such as the steel industry. Angola has a lot of iron ore, and we are in the process of creating the iron beneficiation plant using green hydrogen. In this case, the idea is to produce green steel as an end product, and that is going to be very beneficial in terms of decarbonization. We are also doing a more, let's say, assessment and studies in order to understand the value chain and the potential for growth of a green hydrogen industry in Angola, including, of course, the direct iron reduction plant that soon we are going to start a more aggressive feed stage. Also, as part of the transitioning, Sonangol now has been paying a lot of attention into the mineral resources, being it strategical or critical minerals, but it is one of the way through which we are going to transit. We need to secure important minerals that are going to become either due to its scarcity or importance for the electromobility and even new technologies for the greener energy, and therefore we are now entering into a mineral exploration stage in order to secure this mid to longer term strategy. So here we show very large areas. As you can see, it is only inside one of Angolan provinces, Kwanza Sul, and the areas are a few thousands of square kilometers. It is a lot of areas, and this is now under our hands as an R&D in order to initiate the necessary studies, including remote sensing techniques, so that we can narrow down the areas, identify prospective areas, and then with the critical mineral group, we can decide on the development or exploration and the production stages of these mines. There will be a more detailed presentation on the critical minerals 1 hour after this session that is going to be presented by one of my colleagues for the critical mineral group. So these are some examples on the field. So a lot of, maybe some of you are geologists and like these. Even within some perimeter there, we see a lot of evidence for quartzite. These are potential feedstock for the polysilicon for the solar panels and the energy technologies. Then, as part of our, let's say, laboratory apparatuses for environmental technology, sustainability, and energy logistic group, so we are still continue testing more efficient cracking apparatus for biomass reactors. As you know, the biomass is also one of the pathways through which we can have a mixed energy matrix in order to decrease, of course, the load of the on the oil and gas, but also in order to meet global energy demands, we need to reassess these as potential solutions, and then how we convert it into the necessary end products, being it synthetic fuels or methanol and so on, for direct combustion. We have very specific apparatus to do a lot of testing in this. And of course, we are also working on the nano markers and so on for fuel tracking, and in order to avoid contamination or even other kind of problems with the fuel distribution in Angola and in also regional areas using nano markers. So we are starting, but we're already very active applying different scientific articles. As you know, R&D also means a lot of publications and patents and so on. So these are some examples that are either published or in the process. And very soon we are going to start to increase our publication footprint in the international publication article entities. And now some overview on our laboratories. We are in the commissioning stage. These labs will be able to do all sorts of analysis, being it gas, liquid, or solids, including analysis for the oil and gas, but also for minerals and more trendy apparatuses, for example, for PVT, special core analysis, petrochemicals, and so on. And very soon, those labs, in first quarter of next year, they will be operational. So we are commissioning, we are training, we are initiating the certification stages. These are some examples of the lab infrastructures that we have. So in this case, the geoanalysis for strategic minerals. It is very convenient that we do the mineral analysis, and a lot of these we can test and try internally in our labs. And we have a lot of sophisticated apparatus, including those that can do advanced radiometric and isotopic analysis. So we have our high power computing. It will have installed for the first phase 8.5 petaflops of computing power and 5 petabytes plus, because it will be scalable to support all our initiatives. As you may be aware, modeling, geomodeling, and oil-based modeling and seismic processing and so on demands a lot of computing power. And of course, our digitalization geomatic center that is going to be also complementary activity for the data, so that we can receive data in any formats and still be able to transform it and do some jobs on the data. A lot of vintage sepias and tapes that otherwise you cannot access the data, and these are relics, and we should optimize them, and we have a specialized digitalization lab for this. So basically, in terms of final considerations, I have presented that despite Sonangol still being very focused on the oil and gas activity, which is the anchor of our business, but we are diversifying, we are investing in R&D, and securing the mid-term transitioning and to become a more efficient energy company. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vladimir. We are going to open the floor for questions and answers from the audience. Any questions from the audience? We do have questions, so I will ask the support of the team to pass on the mic. We kindly ask you to introduce yourself, your name, the organization, and then present the question. And then our speaker will answer the question.
Yeah. Thank you very much. My name is Johannes Lange from GeoNet. We do wind resource assessment for wind farm development, and that leads me to my question. I saw that you're also have this group too about renewable energies. Are you developing projects in Angola, like wind farms and solar farms? Is that also part of your business?
Yes, I think it's better because I don't have my notebook to answer as the questions are placed. Yes, we have actually a gas and the renewable energy subsidiary. If the business already exists and it is a matter of implementing, deploying, it is through the subsidiary. But we are there supporting them in order to find potential a possibility for improvement of some technologies, increasing efficiency, and even recommend the necessary technologies. So many times, a lot of projects start in R&D, and when we are very comfortable, we advise our subsidiaries with the way forward. So yes, it is part of the big vision to implement very large solar plants, and even for example, for the biomass, we have very large projects for large fields for the seeds and so on to feed, as a feedstock for the biomass plant. And this is all being assessed in our R&D area. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My name is Fernando. I'm the sales manager for Baker Hughes in Angola. I have 3 questions actually. So the first one will be with regards to the future production of hydrocarbons in Angola. So we have seen many estimations concerning the timeline and the future overall output of oil production coming of Angola. And given the current scenario, we've read across that the estimates, some are showing some reduction in the overall production future. So with some numbers estimating between now and 2050 a potential reduction to approximately below 500,000 barrels a day. So what is Sonangol view given the current still untapped resources to overcome and still keep Angola at the 1 million barrel per day target? So, and this is a combination from the onshore and still untapped resources from the offshore. So just to give us some very positive, I would say, scenario that can challenge these negative overviews. Then the second one is to understand what is the timeline for the very famous hydrogen plant. So you said it's still in the pre-feed stages. So what is I would say, the realistic scenario for this plant to become a reality? And the third one will be whether, so since Sonangol is also involved in addressing the mining potential, whether Sonangol is today a licensed mining company as well. That's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fernando, for the interesting questions, and these, a lot of them interest me because I'm a geologist and I have worked in the exploration subsidiary, and even I was the director of exploration national concessionaire in 2018. And yes, so there are a lot of forecasts for the production. We know the oil and gas is a finite element, and it needs constant exploration and development decisions in order to maintain or increase the production. Otherwise, it naturally will reduce. So, of course, sometimes there are a lot of variables that may affect decisions, being it economical, being it maybe, I would not say resistance, but hesitation from the major companies in terms of what are the trends internationally, But I think at the end of the day, we know even 50 years from now, oil and gas is still going to be part of the energy matrix. Of course, we will reduce considerable the proportion, but it may, in fact, either still be the existing values or a little bit higher. Of course, more of these energy components will come from renewable and other sources. So in terms of Sonangol as an important national player in oil and gas, we are working with our subsidiary in order to look at opportunities for upside, and these upsides can be very important quick wins because the infrastructures exist. Some of them are, some of the fields are declining in such a way if we don't initiate renewed production from surroundings, then it may become uneconomical. So there is a lot of pressure for us to catch up on this, and the law already exists, which we call near field exploration. So in the past, if you have your oil field, the law only allow you to develop and produce on that particular reservoir that is licensed. You could not do exploration in that area and drill another target and consider under the production contract. So now it allows you to really untap this, and I think this is the idea that Fernando was thinking as well, so that immediately we have that. In parallel, of course, there are the onshore blocks that our National Petroleum and Gas Agency and Biofuel has been promoting extensively. Of course, there are still a lot of efforts, and you know, potentially the onshore fields need more financial and operational discipline. So the mindset needs to also to adjust to the onshore reality. But I personally think it is an important element that will contribute towards the stabilization of the production. And then, of course, there are the frontier areas, for example, the Namib Basin, even the Kwanza Basin, the pre-salt, which we know there is a lot of potential, but there is some hesitation in the oil and gas companies to go there. But you know, the 2012 to 2016 drilling campaign, it was a third of the wells were successful. Of course, there is CO2 in many of the accumulations. We needed to address it. Brazil has more CO2 than our discoveries. So somehow there is a potential if you look at the right angle, and also there is possibility if the problem is economics, the law now has an opening so that the companies can go and get a deal from the government to have the necessary incentives for these discoveries to become economical. So there are a lot of these elements that already exist, and these will definitely contribute towards the stabilization of the activities. And the second question on the green hydrogen plant, our plant was meant to be on the FID stage this year, but suddenly there has been some changes in the global market for green hydrogen. And I think everybody knows this created a lot of hesitation, and the project needs off-taker. We need someone who is willing to buy and guarantee to buy our products when we are starting to produce. So the green hydrogen business is like oil and gas business maybe 20 years ago. You could not develop a gas field if you didn't have the off-taker and someone who would be paying for the efforts. So we are now reconsidering either the downscaling this project or creating internal domestic strategy to also have feedstock being utilized in Angola and transformed. So this part of it can be implemented in the mining for mineral refining. And the third question, I now have a blank.
Sorry.
Mining. Okay.
Yes, the mining.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Sonangol is now is really investing a lot in the mining as a means to secure mid and long-term needs for these critical minerals. And we do have now 7 mineral concessions in Angola for quartz, lithium, and uranium. And as we are progressing, we are also addressing the possibility to hold rare earth elements as part of our portfolio, but more studies are needed because the contracts and the license need commitment. And you know, sometimes are tens of millions of dollars of commitment. So you cannot just go and apply for a concession because you are committing to doing some work to some amounts. But yes, so far we have 7. Thank you. And we have 0 seconds.
Let's put our hands together for Mr. Vladimir. Thank you so much.